Welcome to Dilemma's Concepts. Today we are looking at the 2025 curriculum-based PEP exam. So let's get into it. So we're looking at the math curriculum-based test. It's question one actually says here. So question one says, the time that Ashley ran in a race is given in the box below. Use it to answer item one. So we're seeing the time as 48.25. So 48.25 is the time that actually ran. So the question is, what is the value of the digit 2 in the time actually ran? So we're talking about this digit. This is actually in the decimal, so it has a th on it. It's the first one. So it's going to be 10th with the th on it. So it's going to be 2/10 right here. So that first one there is actually B. Now it says, examine the diagram with the triangles and circles below. It shows that for every 9 triangles, there are 6 circles. We're going to use it to answer this question. How many circles are there for every 3 triangles? Watch this. We're talking about 9 here to 6. So 9 to 6. So let us look at 9 to 6. If we should divide both by 3 to break it down, we're going to see 3 triangles to 2 circles. So the question is, for every 3 triangles, we're talking about 2 circles. How many circles are there, right, to 3 triangles? So it's actually 2 circles. Now, let us look at this other question. This is, examine the diagram below. Use it to answer item 3. All right, so it says here, so we're looking at this, we're seeing 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. So I'm seeing 3/4 3 times. So it says, which of the following shows how to calculate the total shaded area? So basically we're seeing 3/4 and we're seeing it 3 times. 3 times. So we're going to multiply this by 3. 3 3s give me 9. 4 times 1 is 4. So this A is correct for number 3. Let's go. It says, examine the 10 marbles in the box. An oval is drawn around a sum of the marbles. Use it to answer item 4. What percentage of the total number of marbles is outside? So we have one here and another one here. So we have 2 outside of how many? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10. So it's going to be 2 out of 10. And as a percentage, this is actually 20% right there. So remember now, outside, the ones outside, 2 out of 10. So that's 20%. So the question says, when drew 24 similar circles inside rectangles S and T, rectangles T. All right, each fit 24 perfectly. All right, so the question is, what rectangle would also fit 24? So what we're looking at is to have 24 equal pieces. So we're going to check our responses for 24 equal pieces. So let us go. It says, so this is actually 3 times 6. This is 18. This is not it. This is 12, as in 6 times 2, which is not it. We're looking for 24. This is 8 times 4. This is 32. This is not it. But 2 times 12 is 24. So it's going to be D. All right. So we have D for that one. Let us get to question 6, I believe. So item 6 says, examine the blocks given, use it to answer. So we're looking at the key here. We're seeing that this is 1,000 here. These are hundreds, and I'm looking at 3 of them. So this is 300. These are in tens, and it's 4, so it's 45. 1,345 is my total, and that is D. 1,345, that's D. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. The next question says here, Lisa has 4 pens. All right. Now, but we're observing what's going on here. So these 2 represent 4. So watch this. This is 4. This is another 4. This is another 4. And then half of it is going to be 2. When you add these up, we're talking about 14. And this would have been pencils right there. So what is the question? Lisa has 4 pens, which is up here. Which of the following will represent the number of pencils? It's 14. And so this is the answer, and we're gone. Okay. Not bad so far. You got to do a lot of reading though, but it's not bad so far. Let's go to the next question. So the next question says here, it says, um, examine the piece of rope. It measures 200 cm. Use it to answer item 8. A piece of rope which measures 160 was used to tie a box. What percentage of the rope was used to tie a box? Well, you could see it's going to be 160 out of 200, and you multiply this by 100 to turn it into percentage. You could cancel your zeros. This cancel there. These two cancel these two here, and then 2 into itself 1 and 2 into 160, that's 80. You work it down, you'll get your 80% and you're gone. Now, the next question says, examine the 2 sets of coins, and we're going to use it. All right, so we're dealing with $10 coins. We have 5 of these, 5 tens, that's $50 coins here, and we have 5. Okay, let us see what it is that they want. Which of the following is true about the relationship between the 2 sets of coins? The value of set M is dash the value of M. You could see this one is 10 times this one. So we're looking for 10 times, and that is actually B right there. All right, good. Let's see what's going on. Not so bad so far. I hope that you were clocking it just now. All right. It says, examine each bar below. The bar is divided into 12 equal parts. The bar represents the total number of questions given on a math test. Use the bar and the information given about them to answer. Okay, so we're looking at this. So we're seeing this is a measurement question, and this is total we're looking at. Okay, so the measurement is 7. Now we said the test contains measurement in geometry. So this part is geometry right here. This is our geometry section. And then you could see that this is 5 pieces, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now let's see what the question was. They told us that the measurement section to the total is 7 to 12. The question is, what statement is true about the ratio of the number of geometry questions to the number of measurement? So remember now, geometry comes first, measurement comes second. Geometry is 5, measurement is 7. You're looking for 5 to 7 first. The ratio is 5 to 7. A is correct. So we have that done. Let's go to the next question. Examine the yellow cars and the blue one. All right, we're going to do that. Which of the following represents the ratio of the number of yellow cars to the number of blue cars? So yellow to blue, yellow comes first, yellow comes first, and then blue comes after. We're just going to count. Yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6. Blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have actually 6 to 9. If you don't see 6 to 9, and remember now, they say yellow first. So 6 to 9 is not there. Let's divide everything by 3. We could break it down by using 3. We'll get 2 to 3. So we're looking for 2 to 3 this time, and it is there, and we're good. We're gone. Let's go to the next question. So the diagram below represents the pizza, and that cuts into 6 pieces. All right, let's go to the question. It says, Colin says that each slice represents 1/6 of the pizza. Do you agree with Colin? He said, each slice as is. I'm going to say no, because we're seeing each slice is not the same. Therefore, they all could not just represent the same thing. They look differently. So no. So these two are out. No, because each slice is not this. I like C. Okay. So that's not it. So the answer is C. They're not the same size. Now, Janelle got 60 questions. So Janelle got 60 questions right there on a test, and she got 30 of them correct. What fraction represents the number of questions she got correct? It has to be 30 out of 60. And then when we break this down, you're going to get 1/2, right? So that answer there is 1/2. Quite easily done, not too bad. Let's go to the other question. It says here, the diagram below shows the amount of 2 different types of whole cakes, vanilla, right? And so on. All right, watch this. So it says, let's go again. The diagram below shows the amount of 2 different types of whole cake, right? Vanilla and chocolate. Now it says that 4 children usually eat. So in other words, then, so that's what they usually eat. So this person will eat half of this. This is a half. This person would eat. This is a third. This person will eat 2/3. I should say. This person will eat a third. This is a third right here, and this person will eat 1/4. So this is what they would eat, all right? So here's the question though. It says here, the parents of the 4 children are trying to decide the number of cakes they will need to buy. So we're going to answer the question. So here is the question. The question says, vanilla cake and chocolate cake are each, this is so important, are each sold as a whole. In other words, you can't buy half of a vanilla, you can't buy half of a chocolate. You're gonna have to buy the whole cake. Even if you're gonna eat a piece of it, you're gonna have to buy the whole cake. That's how they're selling them. So the question is, which number represents the total number of cakes that the children parents would buy? Now let's work on the vanilla first. So what we're going to do is to add these numbers. You want to add these fractions to see what it is. And remember, now we have to round off. Matter of fact, we're not even rounding off. What we're going to have to do is to remember that we're going to a whole number. All right, so everything would have to go up to a whole number. So let's take a look. When we add this, let us say we're using 6. So let's do this. 2 into the 6 is 3 times. 3 times 1, that's 3. 3 into the 6 is 2 times. 2 twos is 4. You know what we have here? 7/6. This is 1 and 1/6. We can't buy 1/6 of a vanilla cake, so we're going to have to buy 2 vanilla cakes. So we need 2 vanilla already. We need 2 vanilla because we can't buy a piece because they're sold a whole. All right, so we went over 1, so we need 2 vanilla. Let's go for this. We're going to add this. We're going to add 1/3 to 1/4. Let us use 12. We're going to get 4 times. This is 4. 4 into the 12, 3. Boom. So this is 7, 12. This is not even one cake. But this, when you add these together, it's not one, but you have to buy one so that they could eat it. So we need 1 chocolate. 1 chocolate would work and 2 vanilla. We need a total of 3 cakes because we're going to have to buy 2 vanilla to get what we want. So remember now, the reason why I had to pick this was they said vanilla cakes and chocolate cakes are each sold as a whole, each separately, individually, they are sold as a whole. All right. All right, let's move to the next question. Okay. All right, good to go. So it says, which of the following, okay, which of the following replace this? So when you look, you're seeing 4 to 12 here. So 4 to 12, how did the 4 turn to the 8? You times by 2. The 12 would have to times by 2 as well. That's 24. So we're looking for 24 right there for that one. And we're definitely good and ready to go. Let's go to the next question. It says question 15, we just did 15. Number 16 says that the label from a product is shown below. So what we're looking at here is we have nutritional facts, total grams per serving, 60 grams. So out of that 60 grams, we actually have protein to be 30%, 40% to be carbohydrates, fats, and so on, sugar, and it goes on to more. Now, what the question is, the total, watch this, the total number of gram servings is 60. All right, good. Which of the following represents the amount of grams for protein? So it's 60, we saw that. But protein is 30%. 30% of what? 60. So you want to work that out. This cancel that, this cancel this. 3 6s, 18 grams for protein. So protein would have been 18 grams right there. So there it is. You would have worked out that percentage of the 60 and you've gone. Now, this other question says, examine the bar below. The bar is divided into 10 equal parts. Bar represent the number of boys and number of girls in Miss Jones' class. So it said, in Miss Jones' class, there is 60% of the boys, of the class of boys. All right. So you're telling me this is 60% right here, which means it's a natural that the girls would have been 40%. So the question says there are 12 girls in the class. How many students are overall in the class? So we're going to use the 12 and the 40%. But remember now, I know that 40%, right, is 12. So if I want to know the total, I'm going to revert my 40% because 40% is 40 over 100. But to find the answer, you could reciprocate this 100 over 40 times it by 12, and the answer will just miraculously jump up. So 0 cancels 0 right there. 4 into itself is 1. 4 into 12 is 3. 3 times 10 gives us a 30. So this answer is definitely 30 students are in the class overall. All right, let's go to question 18. So for question 18, it says examine the bars below. All right, let's look. So we have left-handed students, we're looking at the bars. Right-handed students, we're looking at the bars. I'm seeing 2, I'm seeing 6. So right there, we're seeing each bar is divided equally. The bars represent the number of students in each. Okay, so the bars represent number of students in each. All right, good. The ratio is a 2 to 6. Good. What percentage of the class is left-handed? Use the ratio. It's 2 that is left-handed out of 8 because it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 out of 8 times 100, and then you could break this down, right? Whatever. 4, 2 into itself 1, 2 into this is 4, and 4 into 100 is 25. So for this one, the answer we're looking for is 25% there. Question 19. Which represent the highest common factor of 6 and 4? All right. The highest common factor of 6 and 4. Common. Come on. So we're looking in here as a common. It's 2. So the highest common factor of 6 and 4 will be 2 right there. Let's keep it rolling. Examine the number in the box below. All right. Right, so we examine the number in the box below. All right. It says Jason says, I think it represents 4,000. 4,000, meaning 4, 1, 2, 3. No, this is incorrect. Janice, I think the digit 4 represents 400. No, this 4 is in the thousands with the TH. So we're looking for, this is it. We're looking for Sarah because it's 4,000, but with a TH right here. So it has to be Sarah. That is correct. We're halfway. Let's keep rolling. Now it says compare. Now it says when comparing two decimals, the one with more digits after the decimal point has a larger value. Okay. Now it says compare each of the following pair of decimals. Which pair of decimals would make the statement that Mike made false? So we want something to contradict it. That means we want to find one of these that has more digits, but it's less. For example, this, because 0.050 has more digits after the decimal, but it is less than this. So he was saying that it must be more, but this would have proven it incorrect. A. So I'm gone. Now let's take a look at this other question. Camille used the steps below to correctly calculate 20%. Okay, so this is how Camille does it. Calculate 20% of 300. So the step is that you remove the 0 from the 20 and from the 300. All right, and then you multiply these and you get 60, and this is correct. Right, good. So we want to use that to work out this. So if I have 40 and I have the 120, I'm going to remove the 0 from this, remove the 0 from this, and then I'm going to work with 4 and 12 to get our answer. So 4 and 12 right there is definitely the correct way to go. Look, all right, so let's go. It says, look at the amount of pudding Lisa has below. She has 4/5 of the pudding remaining. All right, good. Lisa eats 1/2 of the remaining piece. How much is left? You're talking about having 5/4, and then you want to eat a half of that, half of it, half of it. Okay, so a half of it, that means you need to multiply, all right, by half. So if you could see, this is going to give us 2/5, because half of that would have been left with 2/5. So this is correct at A. 2/5, because 4/5 times a half gives you this. we work with that. That is the correct answer. Now let's go to the next question. It says Jelly. We're looking at Jenny is solving, and Jenny has 1/2 times 7, 6, and the diagram show the steps below. So you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is good representation in step one. Find a half. This is good because this is actually half would be 3 out of it. That's good here. All right, we're good. Add the number of sevens in half of 6. Oh, oh, okay. This is not a half of this. So this is incorrect here. We should have had 3. Should have this. We needed this, this. We needed this 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. Okay. So this is a bad representation already because that's not a half of it. Then so where did Jenny make the mistake? Step 3. Jenny made the mistake. Step 3 in the representation of a half of 7/6. Because as you could see, this is 4/7, and this is not a half of 6/7. All right. So it was badly represented at step 3. Let's jump into this one. It says the information below shows the details for about 10 fruits for what 10 fruits. Oh, so we have 10 fruits in a box. So we have 3/10 is apples, a 2/10 is pineapple, and a half. Now, what is a half in terms of tenth? Well, you could look, it's 5 out of 10. So right there, we could use a quick common denominator here. So instead of using a half, we're going to use 5/10 for bananas. Now, watch the question. What is the ratio of the number of apples to, so it's going to be apples to the number of bananas. Apples is 3/10, so this is 3. Bananas is 5/10, so it's 5. So I'm looking for 3/5, 3/5 right now. 3 to 5 should say. There we go. So 3 to 5 is correct. We're moving on. So we want to examine the table below. So examine the table below right there. All right, good, good, good. It says, what is the ratio of the number of students who like comedy movies to the number of students who like animated movies? So comedy, 12. Animated, 4. If this is not there, you're gonna have to break this down. We could divide everything by 4. This is 3 to 1. So we're looking for 3 to 1, and it is at B. So 3 to 1 is there, it's at B, and we're good to go. All right, let's keep rolling. We want to wrap this up. All right, good, 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 good. All right, so looking at this is a 3/10. So this is actually 30 out of 100. This is 100. This is a 10 by 10. So it's 100. This is 30 out of it right here. This is 10 pieces, and this is 3 out of it here. So 3/10, this is the same. So basically, it's the same we're looking at. So let us hear what they're saying. All right. So this is 3/10, as I was saying here, and this is 30 out of 100, which is the same thing as 3/10. So it says here, Alex, point 3 of the grid, M is shaded, and point 3. I like Alex. This is correct. I'm going to move because it's only one right answer, because these are different. The moment I'm seeing 2 different numbers, it's wrong, because we have already seen that they both actually represent the same in terms of when you break it down. So Alex is correct. Now let's go to 28. So Kate ate 1/3 of the chocolate. So you could see the 1/3 here being eaten. This is the remainder. All right, good. Now it says Kelly wants to share the remainder of the chocolate bars equally among 3. Key thing here, among 3 friends. What diagrams represent this? In the question, what each would get. So each would get that part at B right there. Each would get B. All right, my bad. Each would get this right here. Oh, I was doing right here. Each would get right here, right here, right. That's the mark. Yeah. Yes, a B. So B would have been that response right there. Each of them would have gotten our B right there. Good. All right, so let's go to the next question. So for the next question, we're looking at it. So let's read. It says that examine the diagram below. It's not drawn to scale. Diagram V and W. Diagram V shows a piece of paper before it was folded. So it's the same paper, I know, before the same paper was folded. Diagram W shows the same, yes, piece of paper fold along a dotted line. All right, no problem. Use it to answer 29. Okay. So So basically then it says, what is the length of the dotted line? X. Take a look. It's like this is 11 here, and we're going where 8 is, and we're going to go across. So 8 is going to be here as well. What it means is this 4 is the same here. This distance is still 4. So the dotted line here is still the same 4 because it's the same paper. So we're looking for 4, not a big, we're not going to try anything. It is the same 4. I almost circled 3. It's 4 for that answer right there. Let's go to the next question. Monica can track her sleep pattern. The diagram below shows that Monica is a sleep pattern. So we're looking at it. We see deep sleep, gone to bed, wake up, and so on. Now, if you take a look, this is like 12 midnight. This is midnight. That's 12 midnight. This is 2. This is 4. So you're seeing those numbers I put in. It says about how many hours was Monica in deep sleep. So you come to here from 12 to 3. Here is the hours. This is 1 hour. This is another hour. This is another. So Monica was in deep sleep for 3 hours. 3 hours, right? 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. That's it. 3 hours. Let's go to question 31. We're coming down. A box has a volume of 90. Which of the following could not be the dimension? So which of these could not be 90? Well, this could not be 90 because this is already 90 and then times 2. So I'm not even going to check the rest. These are wrong because these are 90. So the one that could not be 90 is D. All right, that's 180 right there. That's 180 we're looking at, not 90. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let me minimize this a little bit. So it says here, so we have that. So, all right. So it says, which of the following is the parameter of the sandpit? The sandpit. So let's do some quick math. This right here, this is 10, because remember now this is 30, and we need to go 40, so the extra hanging piece is 10. For this 25 out of the 34, this is 9. So based on the shape of this, you want to add up everything. So it's going to be 10 plus 9 plus 9. So that's 20 plus 18. That's like 38. So we're looking for 38 right there. Our answer is B. All right, so we actually got that and we're good. Let's go to the next question right there. So for our next question, we're looking at 32. So here it is, we're looking at a volume question quickly. It says, this is true, but let us think though. This is a 8 by 3. And this is going to give us 24, but this is a 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 4 is the same 24. So these two things would have the same volume, which is true. I'm looking for same. Anything with this is it. The volume of S is the same as the volume of T. Same. They are the same. D is correct right there. Now, the perimeter of the rectangle below is 42. Use this information to answer item 34. Now, remember, when you're dealing with a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6. Remember that this is 6. So 6 plus 6, that's 12. I'm going to have to take 12 from 42 right now. This is going to give me 30. And then I'm going to divide that 30 into 2 equal pieces, 15. So this is 15. This is 15. What does that mean? Area is 15 times 6. 15 times 6 is 90. So we're looking for 90 for the area, and that's what they wanted. 34 is actually done. Let's go down some more. All right. So this question actually says, let's see what it's saying here. So this question says, examine the battery below, use it to answer 35. The battery is an example of what solid? That's a cylindrical shape, so it's a cylinder for that. Let's keep moving. Number 36. This is a triangular prism. Triangular prism. The twin faces, triangle. The rest of faces are rectangular. Triangular prism is it. Now let's take a look at this. We're doing some algebra now. So what we want to do is we're going to use substitution. So we have x plus 5 minus y. X is 2. So 2 plus 5 minus 3. 7 minus 3, 4. You should have gotten 4 there. If you got it, very good. We're winding down. We're almost there. Let's take a look at this question. So this question says the cost of each book, each is very important, 650. So we have some 650s here. Everything is 650 a piece. All right, Mariah wants to buy 4 of these books. All right, so he's going to buy 4. All right, Mariah will buy 4. So it says the cost of the 4 books Mariah buys is represented by N. All right, what that means is 650 times 4. I think this is 2000 because 1003, this is 1,3. You double that, 1,3. So they come up to 3,6. This is what they classify as N. They said it. The cost for the 4 books is represented by N. So the things that in which of the following, all right, will the value of N, will the value of N be the same as the total cost of the books? The value of N be the total cost of the 4 books. The total cost of the 4 books is actually this, which is the value of N. If you take N, you divide it by, okay, this looks good. Because if I take N, which is this, and divide it by this, it's going to tell me the 4 books. That is 4 books, right? Let's minimize this. So what we're doing here, we're looking at the counters, right? So for this question, it is actually saying, let me take it down a notch, a little bit more. Right, let's come back to it. So it says the student wants to share the counter equally. So how many counter will each student get? You need to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8, 4, 3, 8, 7. 15, 15 is 30. So this is 30 that we have. How many persons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to divide over 30 by 5. We're going to get 6. Everybody needs to get 6 equally if we're going to do it like that. Let's go to our last question. So what we have an incomplete bar graph. In other words, there's no title here for this one. So here are the conversation, and the question is, which student response would be the most suitable title? So as you can see, we're seeing subjects and we have the number of students for each subject. Janet says the number of subjects, no. The number of students in the school, no. The mathematics performance in 4, no. 40 students favorite, this looks good. 40 student, I'll take Camille's own. 40 students favorite subject. 15 said my favorite subject is science. 7 said my favorite subject is maths. 12 said my favorite subject is language arts. And 6 said my favorite subject is social studies. So you want to add up the numbers to confirm. 15 plus 7, that's 22, plus 12, that's 34, plus 6, that's 40. So Camille really nailed it. It's 40 of them. So Camille, I'll work with that. There you go. How many did you get? Let me know how much you get from this. See you next time. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye-bye.